Hi, everyone listening, or should I say ciao, since in this episode we are going to be talking about a family's trip to Italy. This is actually part two of Wyatt and Lauren's interview. The first episode, it was about their trip to visit Santa in the Arctic Circle, which should definitely be a bucket list holiday vacation on anyone's list. But now we're going to do part two about their family's trip to Italy and the craziest missed flight story I've ever heard. Spoiler alert, it has something to do with Pope Francis and nuns. But since we already did the kids interview in part one, who am I going to find to co host with me in this episode? Where could I find someone? Oh, oh,
Ciao.
oh, hello. Well, husbands are basically big kids too, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Chris, I thought maybe you could come on for this introduction, not only because we already did the kids interview, but because we've talked about it a lot. Why haven't we done any international travel with the girls? I mean, yes, Mia has been to the Bahamas 3 times on a Disney cruise, but why haven't we taken that big trip abroad with the girls yet? Factoring out things like logistics and moving, all that stuff. Like, I just wonder why we haven't done it yet.
We've just never really had a good opportunity to do it. Obviously, COVID interrupted things for a while there, but I think it's just logistically challenging with two kids to travel overseas.
Yeah, it's discouraging to me because I see so many of the creators that I like and follow on Instagram and TikTok, and they're taking their kids even younger than ours abroad. Wyatt's family clearly has gone to Italy. So I'm like, are we just making excuses for ourselves? Because do we not want to bring along the diapers? Do we not want to deal with dealing with diapers? But I feel like we've just made excuses over the years. But I feel like it's something we really want to tackle as a family ourselves. If you could take the girls anywhere, where would it be?
Spain has always been one of my favorite places to visit. It's not a great place to go in, say, August, but
Yeah.
going to various cities in Spain and kind of traveling the country with them, I think would be a lot of fun. Riding the trains and seeing the various like city centers.
But anyway, let's jump into part two of our interview with Lauren and Wyatt and this horror story about how they got to Rome, but why it turned into a magical trip and why Wyatt's favorite part of the trip involved cats and prosciutto. Switching seasons to another international trip you all took to Italy. Can you tell us why this trip was so important to your family?
But it was a very different trip than like what I've done in the past. It was a lot more slow because we brought both Wyatt and my 77-year-old mother-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
So, we did day trips into Rome, but it was very pointed. Like, so we did the Vatican one day, and that was it. Then we were staying out in Tuscany in an apartment, and then the next day we just kind of like we went to the hot springs instead of like running around. And then we went back to Rome for a second day and we just did like the Colosseum and the Forum and that was it. And McDonald's.
I still remember sitting in the Taekwondo studio and you telling me the horror story that occurred at the Rome airport. Please share that with everyone because I feel like this is such a
About
good learning experience.
the suitcases.
The suitcases.
Yeah. So we definitely had some issues because we were supposed to fly from Reagan to JFK to Rome. And the flight from Reagan to JFK was delayed. There was something wrong with the brakes. Our baggage was already on the plane. So call Delta. What can you do? We can't get you out today. You're going to have to wait. You're going to have to go out tomorrow. I'm like, no, there's 3 airports in DC. I don't buy this. So finally they're like, okay, there's an Air France flight that leaves at 9 p.m. Can you go out to Dulles? So we're like, sure, why not? So we hop on Metro and ride out to Dulles without any of our luggage. Get on the airplane, get to France. The flight from Paris to Rome was interesting for a couple reasons. One, because it was booked so last minute, we were not able to sit together. And in Europe, they're just like, oh, whatever, just like have your son sit next to you and they'll just tell someone to move. Like, okay, that would not fly in the United States. And then the whole flight was full of nuns because it was the week of the conclave.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh, this is
Wow.
Yeah, and they were like all dressed up and stuff like that. So it was kind of wild. So I get there, no suitcases. Okay, we were at the airport for I think like 3 or 4 hours after we landed, trying to figure out what was going on with the suitcases, where they were. Luckily, we had stuck AirTags in our suitcases.
Mhm.
And this ended up really saving us. So the next day, we were already planning on going back to Rome anyways. So we're like, okay, we'll just park at the airport, go in, and then hopefully we should be able to get our bags because they said they'd be here the next day. So we get the email saying that 2 of the bags were there, but the other 2 were not because 2 of them came in Delta, 2 of them came in Air France. Well, we can see on the phone that all 4 of the bags are at the airport, but 2 are
Right.
Delta, 2 are Air France. So 2 of them are in one terminal and then 2 are the other. So we go get the 2, which I think were no, it was the Delta ones that we were able to get. And I'm like, well, we haven't got an email for the other ones, but we know where they're here. And the lady at Delta's like, yeah, just go over there. They should be able to get them to you. So anyways, get over there to the Air France counter. First off, it took me like 30 minutes to get someone to even like acknowledge that I was there. I'm like, great. And they kept telling me they have no record of these bags. They're not here. And I'm like, I can show you on my phone that they're here. And at this point, I mean, it's like 10 or 11 o'clock at night. We had been
Poor
in,
Wyatt.
I know. Luckily, you just hand him some food and in a tablet or a phone. He's usually okay.
Still, that's pretty late, especially with the time
Yeah.
change.
Yeah. I mean, it was like another 3-hour deal to get the bags. But finally, the guy's just like, fine, come on back and show me where your bags are. And so I was able to go back and get the other 2 bags. But it was, if we didn't have the air tags in them, they would not have given us those bags and they would have not let me go back. We would have had to make another trip to the airport to get the other bag.
The tip about putting AirTags in your luggage
Yeah.
is great. What other lessons have you learned moving forward that you'll take as you
Yeah, I think
travel
the
with Wyatt
big
as he gets older?
thing is kind of space. Like, you just have to remember that you can't do as much as you would if it was just the adults. And you're going to have to take things a little bit slower and work in time to go to McDonald's or a playground or, do some of the things that like kids want to do. Some of it we got off kind of easy. We did spend a day going to the wineries, which we thought we're like, oh, this is going to be interesting. I'm not sure how he's going to react. Well, the first winery had kittens. So he stayed outside and played with the kittens while we tasted wine. The second,
Amazing.
the second winery also had cats. They were not kitten though, but the guy at the tasting room gave Wyatt a plate of fat from the prosciutto so that he could feed the cats fat. So he loved going to the wineries. He's like, when are we going back? Like, I want to go back to the wineries. He still talks about going to the wineries. And I'm just like, you really shouldn't tell everyone your favorite part of Italy was the wineries. But it was because of the cats.
What other
Yeah.
moments from the trip does Wyatt talk about still besides the cats?
And so I think once we went to Venice, he was like, oh, no, no, I like this. This is even cooler because it's
Mhm.
like, and he kept asking, like, when are we going to the boat city? When are we going to the boat city? Because I mean, it's like so different than anything you've ever seen. And like you're staying in the hotel and you take a boat to get everywhere. Like he really enjoyed Venice. So I don't know exactly what all about it that he really liked other than just like the boats. I mean, we went on a gondola ride, which he thought was really cool. And then, like the Doge's Palace where they have like the Bridge of Sighs and stuff like that, where you go into the jail. Well, he was like, I don't know, he was very interested in that stuff, the artwork and all that, me, not so much. But going into in jail and taking a gondola.
Were there any parts of that trip that you did that didn't go as planned, that he didn't like as much?
The only one that didn't really go as planned, and I would actually put this a little, I probably I should put this a little bit more on my mother-in-law.
Shh, we
When
won't tell anyone.
we missed our Coliseum tour because we
Oh,
had a hard time getting out of the
oh,
house.
oh,
They still gave us the tickets and we got to do everything on our own, but we didn't get the guided tour of the Coliseum and the Forum. That made for one very hectic morning. I mean, the tour wasn't even scheduled till like noon.
my
Very
goodness.
hectic day getting there, and then it just kind of set a bad tone for the day because like
Yes.
I was frustrated and everyone's frustrated, and then it's like my mother like, well, we should get our money back. Like we were late. Here, it very clearly says on here if you were not here.
Mhm.
Now we were only 5 minutes late, and I'm like, oh, it's Italy. We're probably going to be fine. No, we weren't. Like apparently Italians are starting to be a lot more on time.
Wow.
I know.
Okay, lesson learned. If you're going to the Coliseum, do not be
Be on
late.
time. Well, they do have timed passes and all that because there are so many people there. So I'm sure that kind of feeds into it. But
That
yeah,
makes
so we ended up
sense.
having to just do the Coliseum on our own. Same thing with the Forum. So I mean, it was nice, but we didn't get as much out of it as if we would have actually gotten the full tour.
Mhm.
But like on the flip side, when we were in Florence, we did a 2-part tour. Like the morning, we did like the Ponte Vecchio and the Academy, and kind of just like walked around the city.
Mhm.
And then the afternoon was the Uffizi. Well, they're like, "Oh, you're a family. We're just gonna take you. We're gonna have this one guy just take you all." So we kind of had our own little private tour, but it was
Ooh,
like geared towards Wyatt. Like the tour guide was sitting on the floor with him explaining the paintings and this, that, and the other, and we were just there to watch.
how magical. And they just did this
Yeah.
all on their own.
Mhm.
Wow. Oh, how special for Wyatt, how special for you all.
Yeah.
Italy is known for its food scene. What
Yeah.
are some of your most memorable family meals? Did Wyatt struggle at all with the pace of the
Mhm.
dining? I'm assuming
Yeah.
since it's Italy, he had plenty to eat and
Oh,
enjoy. He
yes.
said he loved
He
that
had plenty
pizza.
to eat. In general, I think Europe is just more family friendly than the United States. Like one the first night we were there, we went to this pizza restaurant and they said right on the menu, if you had a kid, your order, like the kid's order goes to the front of the line. Doesn't matter how busy you are. So like the kid's pizza came out. It was another 30 minutes before ours came out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea about that.
Yeah. And so it seemed like that was the case in a lot of places where his food came out really quick, and before others. And they were also very accommodating of like, hey, can I just get pasta with butter? And they're like, yeah, not a problem. Obviously I think if I would have been like, I want pasta with butter, they would have been like, what's wrong with you? But a 6-year-old or 5-year-old, he was 5 at the time. They were fine.
Before we let you go, let's play a little game we like to call Final Boarding Call, some quick hit
Mhm.
questions to wrap up the episode. Let's start with your travel essential, the one item your family won't leave home without.
Snacks.
Snacks. That's a new one, but very critical. Does Wyatt have a favorite snack?
Or peanut butter
Really?
crackers, use it, but, like, that is where things go wrong, is, like, especially with, like, time changes and, like, delays with planes, like, Wyatt gets very hangry. So you've gotta have snacks because you gotta get ahead of that. Because if he goes down that route, just forget it.
And that is a scenario I'm sure a lot of parents can relate to. Favorite meal you've had abroad?
So we were staying in a smaller town in Tuscany, and it was just like a hole in the wall restaurant. Oh my god, the food was so good.
It is
And
some
it
of
was
those
like,
smaller holes in the walls that are
yeah,
really.
it was like there wasn't anything about it that was just like over the top or would like make you think it was going to be like this most special meal, but it's just so good. And it was like,
Yes.
and they were very nice, and like I'm trying to learn Italian, and the waiters and waitresses were like helping me out with like, okay, well, like how do I say this? Okay, that go and like correcting me, but like
Hmm.
in a nice way, not like it was just yeah, it was just like a really nice,
Homey
you know,
experience.
yeah.
That's wonderful. Bucket list destination for your family that you still haven't done.
Well, and I can tell you exactly what that is, and we're not gonna be able to do it for a while because Wyatt's not old enough, but I wanna do the Disney Antarctica cruise.
The Disney Antarctica cruise.
Mhm.
Really?
Kids have to be 11,
Specifically
I believe.
and specifically Disney brand.
Well, I feel like I've actually never been on a cruise, but I feel
Hmm.
like if you're gonna do that, like, Disney knows how to do things right and comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, definitely I would wait a few more years because that Drake Passage could be pretty rocky if
Yeah.
you
Well, I
attempt to
think the
do
kids
it.
actually have to be 11 before they can do it, at least
That
when I
makes
was reading
sense.
about it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
Absolutely.
we've got a few more years.
And last but not least, this
Okay.
cracked me up. Why do you all call Great Wolf Lodge the Chuck E. Cheese of water parks?
'Cause it is. It's like a Chuck E. Cheese with, like, all the games and the noises, and everything's very kid-centric. Food's not very good.
I think Wyatt would disagree because he says he'd rather go there over
I know.
Italy again.
But you know what? He's not the only kid I've heard say this. I was talking to someone at work, and because I was like, actually, I had to get on a work call while we were at Great Wolf Lodge. I'm like, "Oh, I'm a Great Wolf Lodge."
Oh
And they're
my.
like, "Oh, yeah." And I was like, "Yeah." And I said something, I was like, how, like, my son said this was even better than going to the North Pole. And I was like, "I can't believe this. Like, we took him to the North Pole and he'd rather come here." And this lady I work with is like, "Oh, yeah, my kids were so mad at us because one year we took them to Spain and then all their friends got to go to Great Wolf Lodge and they were just beside themselves that we didn't take them to Great Wolf Lodge."
Oh my gosh. Good news for parents. If you really want to make those memories, you don't need to go
Oh,
all the way to Spain. You can just shell
I
out much
know.
less money and take them to
Yep.
Great Wolf
Go to Great
Lodge.
Wolf Lodge.
I'm
But I
sure
mean,
Great Wolf
everything
Lodge would
there
love to hear
is
that.
kind of gamified. Like they have this like sorcery game that you go through the whole thing and you have to follow all the different steps.
Right.
I mean, yeah, everything there is geared towards kids. I will say for breakfast options, like it's basically Dunkin' Donuts. And I had the worst Dunkin' Donuts sandwich I've ever had in my life. Like the bagel, it's like so stale.
Bring your own food if you're going to Great Wolf Lodge?
Like the burger we had for lunch one day wasn't that bad, but I mean, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's not the best food you're ever gonna have. It's definitely geared towards kids and, pizza, burgers, chicken fingers. There was some, like, pretzel kiosk thing, ice
Yeah.
cream parlor, so I mean, it is what it is. Like, you don't necessarily go there because you think you're gonna get fine dining.
No.
You're
No, I
going there
might
for the water park and all the activities and to totally wear out the kids.
absolutely. No, we're thinking about it maybe next month, so we will see.
Well,
Lauren,
I did actually enjoy it, which I was not expecting, so
and you're not the only parent who told us that either. Some of my
yeah.
friends did it, and they're like, wow, that wasn't bad in terms of entertainment value for your kids. They enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I would go back. I mean, not every weekend, but I would go back.
There you go. Lauren, thank you so much for joining us today. This really provided some great insights.
Thank you. All right, we'll talk soon.
Kids Travel Tales podcast is independently produced and not affiliated with any company, organization, or product mentioned in this episode. For more information about locations or topics discussed, please contact your travel agent or the organization directly.